Good morning and welcome to Daybreak Live Extra, the space where the morning begins with clarity, context, and conversation. It's a Friday and not just any Friday. Today's broadcast is special. Just like the video you just watched, we mark a milestone, pausing to reflect on how far this program has come, an exciting chapter of asking tough questions, amplifying critical voices, and staying committed to responsible journalism.
From politics to security, governance to global affairs, Daybreak Live has grown into a platform for insight, balanced analysis. As we celebrate this journey, we also reaffirm our purpose to inform, to interrogate power, and to keep the public conversation honest and relevant.
Right on today's program, we'll begin with our Daybreak Gist, focusing on Rivers State, where the House of Assembly has initiated impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, a development that has raised serious constitutional and political questions.
We also bring you newspaper headlines and analysis with Likon Shiboale, a public affairs analyst, unpacking the stories shaping national discourse and what they mean beyond the pages.
And on the big story, we examine global power and security through the lens of international relations. The conversation is titled Allies or Overseers, U.S. Security Collaboration and the thin line between protection and control. And joining us is security expert and public affairs analyst, Dr. Kunle Opola, as we explore sovereignty, influence, and the true cost of strategic partnerships.
We draw the curtains on the show with Trend Watch, an examination of the primary issues currently engaging the Nigerian public across all platforms.
We invite you to stay with us for the essential context and clarity that defines us.
This is Daybreak Live Extra, a chapter stronger, still asking questions that matter.
And this is Dominion Television. Let us proceed with the day's top stories.
Interestingly, we must say congratulations to this team.
I mean,
That's been a long time coming.
Exactly.
From the days of Kukuruku.
You saw that video. I think it was a deliberate attempt to actually reminisce on what has happened in the past. You saw the final ending of that video where the very first montage of the show was actually, one way or the other was infused into that video. And it really made sense at that time, As you evolve, things begin to change, you begin to say things differently. And then when you reminisce and look back at where you were, where you are and where you're going, then you can say, oh, well, I think we've tried. Yeah.
Definitely. I think that montage you mentioned brought back memories. Definitely. And of course, it's good to see, some of the episodes that we've had in the past. And of course, we are looking forward to more episodes. And of course,
especially the morning rush when I know it's trying to put on the jacket.
Exactly. I'm trying to tie my gilly.
It's always the beauty of all of this, because when you look back, you'll be able to see where you're coming from, like you mentioned. Right. And I think it's something to appreciate everybody, our audience. Thank you very much for staying tuned. The producers behind the scenes, the ones that are not on the public of the eye. Thank you so very much, everybody. PCR, MCR,
to the technical crew.
Exactly.
They've done fantastic. And definitely to the general manager and she's been there through thick and thin. Through a period where the show was trying to evolve, getting things done. Oh, what other things can we do to make it better? She's always been there. I mean, kudos to her anyway.
Thank you.
She deserves an award. And definitely we're going to give you one.
Look forward to that, Mom.
Well, that might take us to the topic of the day. As we celebrate here, it might be a little bit of celebration and a little bit of, not too good news in Rivers State. While some are saying this is what we want to do, some people are kicking and saying it's never going to happen. Well, the Rivers APC have kicked against the impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara right there in Rivers, while the Assembly are saying, look, we have started these proceedings against you and we have to get you and your deputy out of office. The question is, Fubara is now a member of the APC. The whole cabinet, they decamped to the APC, and definitely the members of the House of Assembly also moved in their numbers to the APC. So the question is, what exactly is the problem now? Are we now seeing another crisis between the executive and the legislative arm of government in Rivers State just because Governor Fubara and his predecessor have, started their, once again, they started the battle they left behind when Ibokete Ibas came to be the sole administrator in Rivers State. The back and forth, I think it has resumed again. what exactly is the problem? Where is the line between you doing your job as a governor and someone saying, well, I think I have a say over what happens in my state? I mean, where do we get to where someone says, oh, this is my state and I decide what happens in there?
It's really sad, just like you mentioned. And then speaking about the reconciliation, it was very apparent to a lot of persons that it was a fragile truce, because immediately after Fubara was restored, Wike granted, I think, quite a number of interviews. And when he was asked that, are you going to be supporting Fubara for second term? He did not really answer that question. His body language, you can tell that a lot is going on. I think he all started from, I think, few months when Fubara, was installed proper as the governor. We began to hear things about, okay, you're not, responding to my demands. No, he didn't come out to say it out, plainly.
What the demands were.
Exactly. But then a lot of persons were asking questions to say, okay, what is going on? You all know the relationship between the two of you before all this governor thing came to be. So it's really sad. And from there, just like you mentioned, it became serious impeachment process the first time, and then the president had to step in by declaring state of emergency. And a lot of persons were against that because according to the constitution, you should not do that to a sitting governor because the people brought him in. But then the president did that, and I think that in a way saved Fubara from being impeached. And of course, just like you mentioned, Ibas came to play, and of course he was there for about 6 months and they left. And then after that, we saw pictures online of the president, of Fubara himself and of Wike, and then it looked as if everything was okay. But then a lot of persons knew that something will still come up. And I think the major problem now is who is going to be the leader of APC.
It's no longer. It's not a question. It's not up for debate. The APC constitution, was just expressly clear about this. The moment, as a sitting governor, the moment you move into the party, you automatically become the leader of. In fact, it's not just about the APC. I think it's quite rampant about all the political parties because they know that you are the money bag. You have the the financial capacity to fund the party. Right? So the moment you get into that political party, you automatically assume the responsibilities of being the leader of that party in your state. Look at all the governors that have moved to the APC so far. Even in Akwa Ibom, has become, suddenly become the leader of the party in Akwa Ibom. So it has happened in all other states, too, including Delta.
Even Delta, exactly. I was going to say that.
Where Governor Sheriff also moved into the party. So it's not about the APC. It's about all political parties in Nigeria. So the moment you move into the party, as a sitting governor, you become the leader of that party in your state. So Wike cannot contest this with Fubara. Fubara is the leader of the. In fact, the chairman of the APC mentioned, even the secretary said, look, we have a leader of the Rivers APC. Yes, we know Tony Okocha is the chairman of the party in that state, but then there has to be a leader. There are several leaders anyway, but someone is at the forefront.
Constitutionally, that was what I was trying to say, that he cannot contest it. But then, according to Wike, I don't know, he's feeling like maybe he should be the person. But then the APC say you are not a member of our party. So why are you trying to say you want to be the leader of the party? And of course, away from that, I also watched a video where Wike says something like, "We made a mistake the first time, and then I want to correct that mistake." And a lot of persons have been able to put one or two together to say maybe he's talking about Fubara being governor. So I really do not understand all of this. As a matter of fact, even the speaker, but according to, I'm not a lawyer, but according to what I've read so far, I mean, for that to happen, I think 1/3 of the House of Assembly must sign a written notice to the speaker. Right. That's Martin Zamawele. And of course, once he gets that, he must pass it to the governor within 7 days, and that's when the impeachment process can start. But then at the end of the day, if they cannot get 2/3 of the House, of the majority, to still sign the document, the impeachment process will stop immediately. But then we don't know whether he's going to be able to get 2/3 of the majority, and they are still following through the impeachment process. So good luck to Fubara, and of course, good luck to Rivers State as a whole.
I think I saw what was served to the governor, so it was included that 2/3 had already signed to it. So of course APC, like you mentioned, to decry the process, to say no, don't do this to
don't
an
do
APC.
This in our party.
Yes, but let me start from this angle. I want to take it from this angle. A wise man once said, "I don't care who writes the laws of a land. Let me write her songs." And I'm saying that because I know it goes to say that what songs can do, even in politics, is so powerful. Right. While some persons don't like Adeleke for dancing, others have taken, I've always used songs as a way of passing, esoteric messages to themselves. For example, some have alleged that what caused this was the song, "If You Dey Follow Asiwaju, No Follow Kona." Yeah. So that was exactly the genesis of this again, after the old reconciliatory process had been done with. And so Baba sang the song, and Wike had to sing another song. One of the places, he visited some local government recently, And then he also sang some song. I mean, I can't remember how the lyrics was, but I remember that of Fubara because it was saying, so if you could tell who is following for corner.
Agreement is agreement.
Yeah, agreement is okay. That was one of the songs, yeah. So it was a song battle before it unfolded to this. Now it has snowballed for every other person. But I want to also maybe rejig our memory back to when this happened the last time. I think that was in 2014. I think we've had series of maybe about 5 or 6 altogether, if my memory serves me right, about 6 impeachment process for governors, and a good number of them happened in 2006. The 2005 one was the one in Oyo State, Rashidi Ayadewolu, and then we've seen a lot of this happen. But one of the things that would be, one of the clauses that is given by the Constitution, according to, I think, Section 188, is that the court can also come in. Even after the process is still being, the court will be the last, how do we say now, the umpire, exactly, that would decide if that process is right. Because what was alleged was gross misconduct for him. And I think on a number of occasions, the Constitution allows for that to happen. If there's a gross misconduct on the part of the governor, the House of Assembly can unseat, can impeach the governor. But, there's been claims that this is witch hunting, that this is not really constitutional in the sense that he did not do that wrong, but they wanted to file him out. I mean, this is also his word against their word. It's a battle, it's a contention, but we are also hoping that this is not just politicized, that this is actually true. Whatever was said about gross misconduct, especially about the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, should be the true thing. Now we're expecting the court to also come into this process and check for the potency of this argument. Does this stand a chance of validity? Can this be, proved beyond every doubt that this man has been engaging in this kind of activities? But because if you look at the gross misconduct, I was checking what it means actually according to the law, and it's quite a number of things. It's not just one thing. It could mean misappropriation of funds, embezzlement of public funds, maybe also inflicting injuries to people.
The moment it says gross misconduct, it means that it's not just one thing you did.
So if it's gross, it's the gross of all of the misconduct.
Yes, must have done.
I think the principal thing has to do with, finance now, because the budget is being debated now. I think Speaker Martin Zamorale says something that, Fubara is a mistake, and of course he has done certain things, to disrupt the democracy.
He called the deputy a woman, in a sense.
Exactly.
I'm not sure if you guys saw that.
I think he said, Fubara has done something to disrupt the democracy of the state, and of course, maybe they should just resign, according to Martins, because according to him, if they cannot put the state in order, by ensuring that, Fubara is brought to book, then they might just resign. And I'm wondering what is going on, because according to everything that we have on ground, this budget that we're talking about is of 2025. Let's not forget that his tenure, was stopped for a moment for about 6 months.
For 6 months. Not about 6 months. A whole 6 months.
For about 6 months. So I think the judges should look at this, matter critically, because just you mentioned Ladoja at the time. There was a time that he was also, impeached, but then at the end of the day, I think the case was pushed out again to say that the process that impeached him, was not followed, in the better way according to the Constitution. So Fubara still has a short window, but it depends on the body language of the members of the House of Assembly and of course those that will sit on his case. At the end of the day, let's just assume that Fubara is being impeached. In as much as he does not have any criminal case, he can still contest again as governor. But then it's a little bit dicey. I also watched a video where Fubara was talking to some judges to say that, okay, you lots, you are turning the law upside down because of your paymasters. We don't know what is going on in Rivers State is bigger than what we think, honestly.
I think Samson knows more about the judiciary is where that would take us to because if you understand what Chike has been doing, especially with the judiciary, maybe in Abuja and every part of the world too, you might say that maybe he has the backing of the judiciary. So even if this gets to court, maybe he will still win.
Well, I don't think Fubara stands a chance if this case gets to court, because definitely if you look at the current situation, let's use Abuja as a typical example. I'm not making a claim about if there is financial inducement or any form of inducement whatsoever, but what I'm trying to say in essence is that Wike in Abuja made a statement a few months ago and said, look, by the end of his tenure as Minister of the FCT, no judge in Nigeria that resides in Abuja will have to, pay rent to anyone. They must have an apartment of their own. That is one. Two, they all have their own personal cars now, right? By the courtesy of the government, the FCT administration. So now you transfer that to what would have happened in Rivers State when he was governor. I think Wike is a strategist, is a politician, is a tactician when it comes to politics. He knows that whatever it is, whatever trouble he has caused, right, in any way, in any sphere, is still heading back to court. So how do I mitigate the damages when it gets to court? So there are things he's been able to put in place before now. You see, the major challenge Fubara has is that, you know, sometimes when you know, just like an animal that knows that there's a trap somewhere, right? The moment you know there's a trap, I mean, you don't have to go there. But I think Fubara is also daring one way or the other. It feels like, yes, you think I cannot try you, I will try you, and let's see what will happen. And that was majorly why he joined the APC. He knew, probably some people spoke to him and said, look, if you want to, you know, find a way to be able to contest against this person in Rivers State, if you truly want power, join the APC. When you join the APC, you automatically become the leader. The moment Fubara joined the APC, there were tussles, issues around who becomes the leader of the APC. And Wike was one way or the other handicapped in that area because he wasn't a member of the APC. There was no way they would have made him a leader of the APC in the state. The only game he's trying to play now is that, okay, I see how some people, Tony Okocha is the chairman of the APC, yes, but he has been an ally of Wike for a long time. So if you saw Tony Okocha with the chairman of the PDP in Rivers State on the same stage, singing the same song, dancing, dolly, agreement is agreement, it's not his fault because he will always be loyal to this man. And what can Fubara do? That's the big question. What can Fubara do to get away from Wike? It is next to nothing.
Let me also say, I think in my own opinion, my little opinion, what Fubara can do is that the president do something or does something in sense.
You see, the president has the capacity to say, look, I want you guys to do this. What if they don't listen? Right? Now, I will now cite an instance about insinuations and innuendos in town about what the president can actually do to Wike before or after 2027. You see that people like Magnus Abe, who are loyalists to Nyesom Wike, who have been his friends for a long time, most of them are getting appointments from the presidency. Now, that signals a certain level of loyalty to the presidency. Okay, Fubara is now the leader of the APC in Rivers State. Now, if it gets to Wike made a statement recently and said if Fubara gets the ticket for the second time, he will bury him politically. And nobody is really x-raying what he said because it's a very big statement. He knows that the moment Fubara becomes a second-time governor, he might just be finished in Rivers State. So he's trying to prevent that from happening. That is why he's romancing both the APC and the PDP. He also made a statement that there is no political party in Rivers State.
So there's no APC,
what they have is the renewable family. So he's trying to nullify the effect of political parties and say, look, whoever is in the both PDP and APC in Rivers State, they are queuing behind me. So he's nullifying Tony Okocha and the chairman of the PDP and saying, look, whoever you want to run to, they are all with me. So you are not getting this ticket.
So I think that's the reason why the National Secretary of APC had to come out boldly, Bashir, to say that you're not a member of our party. Because, I mean, according to the Constitution, you are not even supposed to be interested in becoming the leader of APC in Rivers State. But then the body language of Wike is different. And I think there's one lesson that we must take out of this. You know, speaking to Godfatherism, there's an old video of Wike that I watched, and then he was speaking to the interviewer, and then he said, Godfatherism will not work in Rivers State. Many years ago, when he was still a governor, we know what transpired between him and then
so many people.
Exactly.
He retired Rotimi Amechi.
So I don't know
and
why
Rotimi could not go to his home state.
It's a problem. So I don't know someone that said that at that time. So I don't know what is going on between him and Fubara now. So it's a lesson to people that are aspiring to become governors in the future. Do not make a deal that you know you will not be able to fulfill at the end of the day.
I think it is payback time.
Think it twice.
Right? Rotimi Amechi retired Peter Odili. Peter Odili, one way or the other, Rotimi Amechi became governor after that, and then Nyesom Wike came, retired Rotimi Amechi in Rivers State. Fubara is trying to do the same thing to Nyesom Wike, but Wike is not having any of that. And I think, you know, what you have done to people, I mean, there's no way you will not take it. I think this is karma.
But does Fubara have the capacity to give out the kind of
what I see now very quickly, just in 2 seconds. What I see now with Nyesom Wike is just like an hunter in the bush with one last shot, and is facing a deadly animal because it is Wike against so many people in the next general election. Because by the time the election comes, it might just be at the corner and there will be beasts facing him. Can he survive that? That's a very big question.
Now, also, I would say what I'm expecting from all of this is I'm expecting the president to come in again. And I want to see what angle the president will come in from. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that to see if the president can find a solution, long-lasting solution, or perhaps dismantle the process.
And of course, I mean, to just conclude my opinion on this, I think whatever happens at the end of the day, it will either make Wike more powerful, or maybe make Fubara consolidate his power.
That's what I said. So it's like a hunter in the bush with one last shot.
It's a big one, because
if you're able to get it right, fine. If it fails and misses, that's a big
lot. Looking at Nigerian politics and the fact that Wike is we know him to make some bold statements, and of course some politicians are even seen as too powerful to be controlled. Right. And I think the president must find something, must do something on this matter. Honestly, good luck to Fubara.
And lastly, what Wike knows how to do. What he knows how to do is to use the press to push his agenda. Very soon you will see a media chat, and then he will push out other narratives.
And then after the media chat, you see he's in a band. They'll come up with songs,
agreement,
compositions.
All right, that takes us away from that topic this morning. And it's time we'll take weather report on the show. And we'll be starting with the ancient city of Ibadan. What does the weather look like in Ibadan this morning? And we'll be going straight to Ibadan Southwest in Oyo State at currently 25 degrees Celsius in Ibadan this morning. Later in the morning, it will rise by 4 notches to 25 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy. It will be mostly sunny all through afternoon, and there will be a sharp rise to 36 degrees Celsius at 5%. It will drop to 28 degrees Celsius, clear at 5% in the evening, while overnight we'll have 25 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy at 8% in Ibadan today.
Okay, let's cross over to Abeokuta South. Weather feels like 26 degrees Celsius. Later this morning is expected to rise to 29 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 4%. In the afternoon, 35 degrees Celsius, mostly sunny around 5%. And in the evening, 28 degrees Celsius, clear around 5%. Overnight, it drops to 26 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 9%. That's what we have for Abeokuta this morning.
And from Ogun State now to Lagos, the weather is slightly different at 27 degrees Celsius, expected to be cloudy across board. And later it drops in the morning to 29 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy as well. And the afternoon part is 31 degrees Celsius, mostly sunny in Lagos State. Then in the evening it drops much further to 28 degrees Celsius. The weather is expected to be clear and is also expected to be partly cloudy overnight at 27 degrees Celsius in Lagos State today.
All right, moving on. Let's go straight to Ekiti. Ekiti Southwest this morning. Weather in Ekiti currently feels like 23 degrees Celsius, and it's quite cloudy in Ekiti as we speak. It will rise to 28 degrees Celsius, mostly sunny at 1% later in the morning. And by afternoon, it will rise to 34 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy at 3%, while it will be clear in the evening at 26 degrees Celsius at 5%. It will be mostly cloudy overnight at 16%, and it will be around 23 degrees Celsius in Ekiti today.
Okay, let's cross over to Ilorin International Airport. Weather feels like 23 degrees Celsius this morning. Later is expected to rise to 29 degrees Celsius, mostly sunny around 1%. In the afternoon, 37 degrees Celsius, sunny around 0%. In the evening, it drops to 29 degrees Celsius, clear around 0% as well. And overnight, 23 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 8%. That's what we have for Ilorin this morning.
And Osogbo is where I land. The weather is cloudy at 24 degrees Celsius across board. Then it rises by 5 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius. Also expected to be partly cloudy in Osogbo today. And afternoon, it rises by 6 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius. Also expected to be partly cloudy. The weather becomes clear in the evening at 27 degrees Celsius. And overnight, it drops by 3 degrees Celsius to 24 degrees Celsius. Also expected to be mostly cloudy in Osogbo today.
All right, let's take this last one from the south. This morning, the weather in Port Harcourt, River State, currently feels like 22 degrees Celsius right there. And later in the morning, there will be few showers in Port Harcourt at 41%, and it will rise to 27 degrees Celsius. It will be partly cloudy in the afternoon and evening at 29 and 23 degrees Celsius respectively. It will remain partly cloudy overnight at 22 degrees Celsius in River State today.
Okay, let's cross over to Kaduna South this morning. Weather feels like 19 degrees Celsius. And later this morning is expected to rise to 27 degrees Celsius, sunny around 0%. In the afternoon, 33 degrees Celsius, sunny around 0%. In the evening, it drops to 23 degrees Celsius, clear around 0% as well. Overnight, 19 degrees Celsius, clear around 0%. That's what we have for Kaduna South this morning.
And from Kaduna to Suleja, the biggest state, Niger State particularly in the country Nigeria, the weather is 24 degrees Celsius and expected to be clear across board averagely. And it rises later in the morning to 32 degrees Celsius, quite sunny in Suleja today. And afternoon is also remaining the same at 37 degrees Celsius, also very sunny. It drops further by 10 degrees Celsius in the evening to 27 degrees Celsius, also expected to be clear. And it drops much further by 3 degrees Celsius to 24 degrees Celsius. Weather is also expected to be clear in Suleja, Niger State.
And lastly, on weather report this morning, we take this very one from Kano, and weather in Kano, as we speak, is expected to be quite a little bit of at 17 degrees Celsius. It will be clear this morning. Later in the morning, it will rise to 25 degrees Celsius, sunny again, and it will remain sunny at 31 degrees Celsius in the afternoon, while by evening it will be clear and at 22 degrees Celsius. Same overnight at 17 degrees Celsius, clear in Kano. That will be all we can take on weather report this morning. We say thank you for linking up with us. Do well to link up with us on all socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter at Dominion Cast. You can watch us live on our website at www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. You can also drop comments for us on YouTube and on Facebook at Dominion Broadcast. All right, let's go on a short break. When we return, Daybreak Live Extra continues on this dial.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominioncast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram at Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Hello and welcome to Daybreak News on Dominion Television. My name is Anoluwapo Idu. The Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja, has stepped into the long-running Onidos II crisis and has announced plans to inaugurate a probe panel to investigate the dispute rocking Ido Township. This was disclosed in a statement by the media aide to the Olubadan, Adeola Oloko. The monarch disclosed that the panel would be inaugurated on Monday, January 12, 2026 at the Olubadan Palace, Okearemo, Ibadan. He urged all parties involved in the dispute to maintain peace while the process unfolds. The crisis centers on claims to the Onido of Ido II, with 3 individuals reportedly laying claim to the traditional leadership of the town. The All Progressives Congress APC River State chapter has rejected the move by the State House of Assembly to impeach Governor Simalai Fubara and his deputy. It was earlier reported that the Assembly commenced an impeachment process against Fubara over alleged misconduct. The impeachment notice is expected to be issued to the governor and his deputy in the next 7 days. And reacting in a statement issued by APC River State chapter, its publicity secretary, Darlington Nwauju, rejected the move. He added that the ruling party will do everything possible to ensure that the government of River State, which is an APC government, is not destabilized. Moving on, the Lagos State government has dismissed reports suggesting a discord between Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and his Ogun State counterpart, Prince Dapo Abiodun. The clarification was made in a statement issued by the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the Lagos State Governor, Gboyega Akosile. According to the statement, the rumors circulating on some online media platforms and blogs were entirely false. He added that the 2 governors maintained a close working relationship. The Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party in Oyo State, Femi Emmanuel, has dismissed speculations that the ruling party is steering the state toward a one-party system, saying such a move will not succeed. Speaking with Dominion News, Emmanuel said the emergence and participation of other political parties are meant to ensure that Oyo State remains politically competitive and democratic.
Issues of, say, the ruling party wants to make or wants to drive us into a one-party system. But I think for parties that are emerging, our goal and our purpose is to ensure that this does not happen, and it's not going to happen here. Because we have big wigs from different angles of the states. You go to any other party, any party, mention the party, everyone has a stake in Oyo State. Everyone has what they want to do in Oyo State, and they are actively driving their party. So yes, we don't have a one-party system in Oyo State.
That all political parties in the state have clear objectives and well-defined plans to contribute meaningfully to the growth and development of Oyo State. Schools across the nation resume a new term. School management has been urged to take the security of their pupils and students more seriously, stressing that it is an integral part of school running. The principal of Vail College, Iyagoku Ibadan, Akombi Obaloja, who stated this in an exclusive interview with Dominion News, said that security is one of the major things parents look for before enrolling their children in any school. He, however, stated a few initiatives to be adopted by schools to tighten the security of their students.
Security matter in Nigeria is been around for a while, and any school that was his name should have taken proper steps to do that. After learning and character, the next thing parents want to know is that is my child safe and secure. No school should take any chance. They should look into what they can do to ensure that at least parents' minds are settled wherever they are. So CCTV, armed policemen, surveillance, and parading the school regularly, compound regularly. So it's very, very important. So I think every school should be able to do that. It's worth investment. It's part of school running, security.
This follows the security challenges of abduction, killing, amongst others, in the country, with schools being the major target of the instigators of these security challenges. And now in business, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, has disclosed that Togo, Niger, and Benin Republic were invoiced a combined $18.6 million for electricity supplied in the third quarter of 2025, but remitted only $7.1 million, leaving an outstanding balance of $11.5 million. The Commission noted that electricity exported to the 3 countries was generated by grid-connected Nigerian generation companies and delivered under bilateral cross-border power supply agreement. According to the report, the international customers also carried legacy invoices totaling $14.7 million, of which $7.8 million had been paid, leaving an outstanding balance of $6.2 million. And finally, in sports, Nigeria's Super Eagles have departed first for Marrakech ahead of their AFCON 2025 quarter-final clash against Algeria, scheduled for Saturday. In photographs shared by the team's media officer, Promise Afoge, players and officials were seen boarding their flight to Marrakech. The trip followed earlier reports suggesting that players were considering a boycott over unpaid win bonuses from their group stage matches and the round of 16 fixture. However, it was later confirmed that the issue had been resolved, paving the way for the team's departure. Both Nigeria and Algeria head into the quarter-final encounter in fine form, having recorded 4 wins each at the tournament. The Super Eagles secured a place in the last 8 with an emphatic 4-0 victory over Mozambique, while Algeria edged DR Congo 1-0 after extra time to advance. And that's about it. You can visit us on our website www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and X at Dominion Cast. And as Daybreak News, I am Anu Oluwapo Ido. Thank you for watching.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram at Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
I welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us this morning. This is Newspaper Headlines and Analysis. I'm Oluwayemi Adelako. I'm not alone in the studio this morning. I have with me Lekon Shibwale, a journalist and public affairs analyst. Happy New Year and welcome on board.
Yemi, how are you doing? Good
I'm
morning.
very well. Good morning.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Okay, so this morning let's start from New Telegraph. I have this headline, the banner headline actually, that says insecurity. Afenifere decries upsurge in terror attacks in Southwest and others. Challenges Southwest governors to take urgent action. I recall that sometimes last year the Southwest governors met on the issue of insecurity, and I want to believe that certain things were discussed. But then recently we saw an attack in your state. What do you think is going on at this point in time? Do you think we can rely solely on Amotek, or we should begin to look for
Well, I think I don't know, but 2 years ago, the area of Kakanfo of Yoruba land, about Gani Adams, raised an alarm that these guys are coming to the southwest. And I remembered, as a reporter then, I was at one Soro in Kishi area of where these bandits made an attempt to, they wanted to move into Oyo State, but they were rebuffed by the local hunters and vigilantes around that area. So I think we already know this, and I think give it to the Southwest governors. They have taken various security steps to ensure that these people, they find it so difficult to come into us. But all of us knows that if these guys will be coming, they'll be coming from the old Oyo National Park, which we all, I believe this governor should have known this even before now. And moving from Oyo is saying Igbeti, Orelope to Kishi up. We have a very large expanse of unused land, which we refer to Old Oyo National Park. And according to information, this Old Oyo National Park, at the Kishi end of that unused land, shared a land border with Sokoto State.
Okay.
And don't forget that the last military actions taken by the United States government in collaboration with Nigerian government took place at Sokoto. Do you understand now?
Okay.
Some of these guys were killed, some escaped. So it is just a common sense thing that when you know fully well that Oyo State is sharing a land border with Sokoto through the old Oyo National Park, it is just a normal thing that you know that these guys may decided to move in through that route, and that was what happened. These guys, they don't have intention of coming here directly, but because they were also looking for a way to escape. Some of these guys that came in were some of those guys that escaped in Sokoto State. Some of us, we already have this information that yes, Oyo State is having a kind of land border with Sokoto State. And when these events happened, you should know that there will have been some remnants, some escapees that want to just move. It's not as if they really wanted to move into Oyo State, but they are looking for where to go. So on their way, searching for ways to escape, they move into Old Oyo National Park. And of course, they will be rebuffed by the security agent, the local hunters, and that was the reason for the attack. So I think your state government should be more proactive now. Your state government is one of the southwest states that shared borders with some of these areas where some of these are bandits and armed terrorists come. So it calls for a kind of proactive measures from the southwest state governors, especially your state governments.
I think it's a fine place to leave that discussion, because according to your state government, they are on top of the matter to ensure that something like this will not happen again. Let's talk about another headline that I have here on the Punch newspaper. Rivers in turmoil. APC leaders intervene as Fubara faces fresh impeachment threat. And that headline has this writer. Assembly accuses governor of constitutional breaches, issues 7-day ultimatum. Rivers APC faction orders back Fubara. I think the impeachment process started yesterday, and then Rivers APC said, we're not going to allow you impeach Fubara. But then I listened to the speaker yesterday, that's Martins, and then he was saying certain things about the fact that Fubara, is a threat to democracy in Rivers State, and of course, he's a misfit, according to him, and then he has been accused of gross misconduct. And then a lot of things might happen. The impeachment process, is going on. If care is not taken, he might be impeached. Do you see these, as strictly trying to maintain, democracy in Rivers State, or there are other underlying issues that are not so clear to the public?
So don't let us continue to be deceiving ourselves. It has something to do with democracy. It has something to do with godfatherism. And of course, in politics, there is nothing you can do about godfatherism. 70% of some of our elected officers came into the office through one godfather or the other. And for me, I wouldn't want to bother myself about that issue of River State, because I will want to advise. I can only give an advice, that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to call all these people to order. All these things they are doing is very ridiculous. APC, there is no way. Fubara is not a member of APC, and APC is now a ruling government. Is a ruling government in Nigeria, and there is no way APC as a party will be looking and one of his governors will be impeached. One of the reasons why Fubara moved to APC is to seek for protection, and now he's having that protection. And these are members of the Rivers Assembly that are talking about impeachment. Majority of them are APC lawmakers. They have defected to APC. And their godfather, Jason Wike, that is pulling all these strings, remains a member of PDP. So it will be absurd for a member of PDP to remove an APC government.
He's even been expelled from the PDP.
So whether, INEC has recognized his own faction of PDP. That is Wike. So INEC recognized his own faction of PDP. So he's still a member of, a faction of PDP, let us put it that way. Okay. So it doesn't really make sense, a PDP person, removing an APC governor under an APC-led federal government with APC-dominated House of Assembly. So, all these things they are not just making sense. So it is just very important for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to call Wike to order and tell him, the truth. And also called Governor Fubara to order. Whether Fubara likes it or not, Wike installed him. So, no matter the excesses of Wike, then you have to learn how to, because when you guys are moving around, when you are campaigning, when the EFCC attempted to arrest you at the airport, Wike gave you protection. So there is nothing you can, for me, there is nothing Fubara can say now that will really move me about Wike. Because Wike, Fubara was saying, I think 2 days ago, when he was saying that the last interview that he had as a civil servant was in 2011. So a civil servant in 2011 going to level 14 in 2023 became a governor. So what are you saying? It's grace and mercy of God through Wike. So, and for you to now be engaging such a person, such a man, such a benefactor, it doesn't really make sense. So whatever that is need to be done, let it be done. Let these comments that Fubara is making, someone is backing, someone is corner. It is not necessary. Whether you like it or not, you don't bite the finger that feeds you. So yes, most people will be saying that weak SSCs, yes, that is the nature of godfathers, and that is why we are saying godfatherism in politics should be reduced. So, but at this stage, I will just advise that, because it's becoming an embarrassment not only to Rivers State people, even to Nigeria, that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as a father of the nation, as a national leader of APC, needs to call these guys, Wike, Fubara, and the lawmakers together and settle it, and don't let it turn to don't let it turn to a dirty fight, where APC National Secretary will be exchanging words with Wike, where Wike will be saying all sorts of things. And so, for me, it has nothing to do with democracy. Nothing to do with democracy. It's just one of those things when you have excesses of godfathers, and when you have the mentee, that is Fubara, when he's not doing the right thing, and he's also feeling that, yes, I'm arrived. So I've arrived. So let the president and who is the national leader and leaders of APC, called Fubara to order. Let President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he appointed Wike as a minister, also call Wike to order, and let the Rivers State continue. I was telling you yesterday, even these Rivers State lawmakers, they have not enjoyed their stay in that House of Assembly for one day. For one day. They have not received the kobo since the assumption into that House of Assembly. So what is you are not even enjoying. So what is the noise about? What you want to impeach Fubara? Can you impeach Fubara? Fubara is an APC governor. You are an APC lawmakers. So whatever that is there, it is important for whoever that is concerned to call all of them and say it is becoming increasingly embarrassing, even for the ruling of Progressive.
Don't you think the president is in a tight corner? Because a lot of times the president has talked about Wike to say he's my person.
Yes.
Fubara is also in APC now.
For the fact that Wike is president's person, it's just the repetition of what happened between our president before he became the president. What happened in Lagos between our president and Akim Ambode, when so many people, political leaders in Lagos, they were complaining about Ambode, and the president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, insisted that Ambode should not seek for a second term. It happens. This is not the first time. But there was a way that situation then was managed. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the national leader of APC, is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So everybody listens to him. For the fact that he's national leader of the party, for the fact that he appointed Wike. So everybody listens to it. So there's one for him to call Wike. Tell Wike what you want. It's just, yes, there have been some agreements, and you guys are not working, in tandem with the agreement. Then the president should call the Wike, you need to stop all this. And Fubara is now a member of APC.
Don't you think it's karma playing out, for Wike now? Because at the time, Wike also challenged, some governors before him. Speak about Amechi and quite a number of others. Don't you think it's karma?
Yes, you can call it karma. But when you are talking about karma, if I'm putting myself in the place of Fubara now, you understand? When that time comes, I wouldn't want to be used as a tool of vengeance. You understand? I wouldn't want to be used as a tool for paying back my benefactor. Whether you like it or not, see, let me tell you, the role that Wike played in the life of Fubara, you cannot compare that with the role that Amechi played with Wike. When there was nobody, Wike was the only one that remained with Amechi. Amechi left Nigeria and ran to Ghana. Wike was the one going to court. So the role that Wike played, you understand, with Amechi is vice versa. Amechi helped Wike. Wike also helped Amechi.
But you think Fubara has not helped Wike
in this case, Wike single-handedly, against the wishes of so many PDP leaders in Rivers State, single-handedly made Fubara the governor. At the time, the EFCC were looking for Fubara. They wanted to arrest. I even remember 2022, Fubara was at Abuja airport. He was about to be arrested. Wike came to his aid. Wike single-handedly made him a governor. Yes, we know there will always be excesses of godfathers, but you should have prepared for that. And that is not the way to go about it, even if you want to confront your godfathers. It happens here in your state. during the time of later Baba, Lamidi Adedibu, and Governor Adebayo Alakala, there will always be, it happens, Baba Adedibu and Rashidi Ladoja. It's just that most of these governors, they are not students of history. They don't learn from history.
So when you don't learn, you repeat it.
You repeat it, and okay. Even when you repeat it, now they are repeating it, and it's becoming so embarrassing. I don't like discussing this issue of Rivers State because it's as if primary school people, when we were in primary school, all those dramas, all those plays that we used to, because it's becoming so embarrassing, and as a governor and a minister, you cannot even manage what is now. If I should ask them now, what is really the problem? The problem is, I want to go for second term. Don't go for second term. Fubara, this is 2026, January 2026. You are talking about 2027. You are now in a very serious battle because of second term or not second term. Even the people of Rivers State, they be regretting their actions now for voting Fubara.
It's really sad, and then good luck to Fubara and of course to Rivers State as a whole, honestly, on that matter. Let's cross to Vanguard newspaper. I have a headline that says, governors who defect should lose seat. That's coming from Mogalo. Speaking about governors, who won the governorship election on their political party and they moved to other political parties. We've seen them, a lot of them. APC now, I think about 29 governors in the All Progressive Congress now. So what do you make of that? And then something funny is going on in Kano State now. There are speculations that the governor, Abayomi, might also defect, to the APC, and then he won under NNPP. What do you make of that?
See, yes, that should be the normal thing. That when you are leaving the party, and you are an elective office holder, then you should just vacate and leave and go to that. But there is a lacuna in our constitution. You can move to another party when your party is having internal crisis. That is the condition. So most of these people that are moving, they have right to move. Yesterday, Adeleke, Osun State Governor, was saying that he loved PDP as a party, but they have to move to save and protect himself. Now, in Ekiti State PDP, they are not having gubernatorial candidates because INEC is not recognizing the faction of that Ekiti PDP. So, they are not having PDP candidates. So, are you now saying Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State should wait till when INEC will not recognize his own faction of PDP that will not be contesting? We have to devise a means of contesting, and that was why he moved to Accord Party. Okay,
that's a good example, honestly. But what about the governor of Akwa Ibom, for instance, Moeno, who defected when PDP was not really experiencing so much issue, and then his defense was that I am moving to the APC to align with the center. What about people like that?
See, let me tell you one thing. See, Moeno knows the reason why he moved.
Okay.
And you can, if you are a very good political observer, you observe that the Senate president comes from Akwa Ibom State. And there has been immense pressure on him to move.
Okay.
Because the Senate president, as the number 3 citizen of the country, want to do so many things in that state, want to attract so many federal government projects to that state. But they will be telling him that yes, you are the Senate president, but your state is being governed by the PDP. So it is very understandable. And this that you are even talking about, there has been some fractions of issues in PDP. Most of these people that are living, they are living with, with the excuses that, look at Governor Yusuf Abba of Kano State. We have almost 3 factions of NNPP. Kwakwanso and Governor Abba faction, and we have some other factions. So, and you have to move. So, there is nothing you can do about that unless we address the clause, unless we address the lacuna. You understand that? Whether you have internal crisis or you don't have internal crisis, you must stay in your party. And when you are leaving your party, then you resign. The constitution must be clear on that aspect of our political life. Because that is where some of these are politicians. Now, look at the PDP now. How many governors are we having in PDP? Former Senate President Saraki said, there is no reasonable politicians that want to contest for any elected position and will still remain in PDP. That means that as we speak, do we still have PDP? The only recognized faction that the INEC recognized is Wike faction. And is Wike still a member of PDP with all these things they are doing? With the support is given to the APC-led federal government, with the support is given to like a day or 2 days ago, he was talking about the role he played in the Osun State versus local government, Oyetola local government chairman. You can just look at it, and you still want the PDP members to remain in that party.
Okay, what about this particular fact? I think Governor Bala Mohammed said something at the time that, APC is trying to, harass him to join their party. What about that? I mean, because a lot of governors have complained bitterly about the fact that this ruling party are trying to woo them to the party.
See, it has nothing to do with harassment.
Okay.
Let me ask you now. If Ubara is still in PDP as of today, this impeachment process will have been so smooth. It is not the issue of, okay, APC, are you now saying APC before, what's the name of this Baisa state governor? Doyediri. He moved. He's a second time governor. He has spent 6 years. He's going next year, and he moved. Was he being harassed? See, let me tell you, most of these governors, they are looking, number one, for protection. Most of them, they know that initially they don't, most of them, even not for all this APC coverage and all those stuff, most of them wouldn't have ended well. But now they want to end well. Because in Nigeria as of today, our democracy continues to grow. Look at all those, look at Malami, because people are claiming that because he's in ADC, he's being victimized. And Oshomole has said that even if you are a sinner, the moment you come to APC, your sins are, it's not politicians. Why will you be a governor for 8 years? You enrich yourself legally and illegally. You pack billions, trillions of naira, and at the end of the day, you now be chasing around by EFCC. Rotimi Akeredolu said it. Let Rotimi Akeredolu bless memory that the problem is that when you have all this money, you pack, you enrich yourself. When it is about the time for you to rest, EFCC will knock at your door. So most of these governors, they want protection. They're also human beings like us. They want to be secure, they want to be protected, and they know that as far as you are in APC, not only you are in APC, you are in the good book of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu or any president. You are in his good book. Now, since I forgive you, look at Ayodele Fayose. The issue of almost 8 years. The moment President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came, he was forgiven, and that is it.
Okay. This is a fun place to live in, and of course we've been able to look at some of the examples. I think it's up to the political parties to determine whether they lose their seat once they defect to another party.
No, it's not political party. It is the responsibility of the lawmakers, National Assembly, House of Reps and the Senate.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with the law of the party.
It's just for them to amend that aspect of our constitution.
Okay. A big thanks to you for joining this conversation this morning. Leko Shubo-Ali, a journalist and public affairs analyst. It's a fine place to leave it this morning. We need to take a short break. When we come back, we move on to Big Story. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun. Please stay with us.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at DominionCast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Good morning and welcome to The Big Story, that segment of the show when we step beyond the headlines to interrogate the forces shaping our world today. In an era of rising insecurity, fragile state, and global power shifts, security partnerships have become a defining feature of international relations. But when help comes from a global superpower, a critical question arises: where does protection and control begin? Today we examine one of the most sensitive debates in global security and sovereignty. Samson Balogun is my name, and thank you for joining us. Our focus today is quite simple: allies or overseers, U.S. security collaboration, and the thin line between protection and control. Across the world, the United States presents itself as a security partner, offering military support, intelligence sharing, counter-terrorism assistance, and strategic alliances. Yet, history has shown that such interventions often come with deep consequences, some unintended, others fiercely contested. From Iran, where foreign interference in the mid-20th century reshaped political destiny and still echoes in today's hostility, to Libya, where NATO-backed intervention removed a long-standing regime, but left behind a fractured state battling instability, and Syria, where foreign military involvement has prolonged a devastating conflict and complicated prospects for peace. Questions continue to trail America's role as a global security actor. Critics argue that these interventions, often justified in the name of democracy, human rights, or global security, have at times weakened state institutions, undermined sovereignty, and created power vacuums exploited by extremist groups. Supporters, however, insist that U.S. involvement has prevented worse humanitarian disasters and checked the spread of global threats. As nations, particularly in Africa and the global south, navigate security partnerships with powerful allies, the dilemma remains: can a country accept help without surrendering control? And how does states protect their people without becoming pawns in wider geopolitical games? To help us unpack these complex issues, we are joined by Dr. Kunle Okunla, a respected security expert who will shed light on realities, risks, and strategic calculations behind U.S. security collaborations across the world. Thank you for joining us this morning. Dr. Kunle Okunla, good to have you again.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Nigerians.
I must say Happy New Year to you anyway.
Happy New Year, that's true.
But there's a critical question I'm going to ask you this morning, and it has to do with the thin line between protection and what you call control.
Yeah.
Where do we draw the line between protection, contribution in terms of security, and then total control and surrendering power by some of these smaller nations?
Okay. The U.S. security collaboration with developing nation, is a multifaceted approach that blends elements of partnership, assistance, and of course, strategic control. Don't forget that the reason why this partnership is needed most often is because there is an issue that is undermining territorial integrity of that smaller nation. That is why, the bigger nation, global power, US, China, Russia, sometimes they're called in, So there is an element of partnership there. Of course, there's an element of assistance. And with this also comes control. It's a thin line, and the line is crossed and it becomes absolute control when one of the party, all right, in this context, it has to be the global power, is calling the shots, all right, and the smaller nation has to be over reliant on the global power when it comes to intel, sharing intelligence, gathering intelligence, when it comes to spending and things like that. And naturally, if you are getting money from someone, is the one that is financing you, one way or the other, you answer to him, So the thin line is crossed when the world power, US in this context, becomes the nation that is calling the shots, even in that host country, and the sovereignty of that nation becomes jeopardized.
Where did we get it wrong? Is it excessive assertion of authority by the US government and the president, or weak leadership from these lower countries?
It's a combination of both. All right. If nothing is wrong with the leadership of that smaller nation, there will not be a need, for US, for instance, as a global power, to come in and assist, or for the smaller nation to beckon onto US to come and assist. I think it's an issue that every nation of the world has to rise up onto. If you look at the United Nations Charter, you realize that it is quite stated that a sovereign nation is equal in capacity and in everything. So one sovereign nation cannot exert authority over another sovereign nation. You understand? An equal is not greater than an equal. That's a law term. An equal cannot be greater than another equal. And also, United Nations says that the president of a sovereign nation has immunity, and another nation cannot exercise authority.
How about the case of Venezuela?
That's what I'm saying, that there are excesses. There are excesses. It's not just the case of Venezuela, because in 1989, there is this precedent that United States laid, that it brought a lot of concern to so many of us at that time, that United States wants to do this again. When the president of Panama, was removed, and it was tried in the US, it was removed from Panama, just like the president of Venezuela was removed in his room with his wife, from the State House, and was taken to the US, for trial. We were asking for the jurisdiction of the US court to try another president from that nation, and the US court actually said that they have the jurisdiction to try, and it was actually tried. And also regarding the immunity of the president of Panama at that time, that an equal is an equal. An equal cannot exert authority over an unequal. You are a president of a sovereign nation. He's a president of a sovereign nation. You know. So what right have you? And the court says that at that time, all right, at that time, the U.S. president does not recognize, you know, the Panama president as a president because of the way he got to power. And so the case went on and it was removed. And the same thing is being followed in the case of the Venezuela president now. And these are excesses of the United Nations.
Now, going back in history, we have had...
the United States, rather.
We have had this issue. In 1953, it happened to the Prime Minister of Iran, who was Muhammad Mossadegh at the time. Also, in Libya, Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. Iraq, Saddam Hussein in 2003. Chile, President Salvador Allende in 1973.
That's right.
There were so many other people like that who had the same issue with the United States of America. Who is to call the United States to order? Is there anybody that can actually do that and say, this is your space, you don't go past this particular space? And what is the role of other giant nations across the world, like Russia, China, and so many other countries?
Like I said, there are laid down rules by the United Nations Charter, you know, and United States, as it is now, what is happening in Venezuela is not following those rules. And it's the International Humanitarian, you know, court that should call United States to order. But nobody is doing that right now. Nobody is doing that. And it's undermining like the United Nations Secretary General said, what US President just did is undermining the power of the United Nations itself. And so, United States has to be called to order, but nobody is doing that.
Some say it is because United States funds the United Nations with about 80 to 70% of...
Like I said, you answer to whoever is funding you. You know, you answer to whoever is funding you. If somebody is paying your bill, you know, and before you know, you begin to do whatever he or she wants. All right? If United States is funding United Nations to the tune of 70 to 80%, you know, what do you think United Nations can do when United States is going to these excesses? And don't forget about the financial power of the United States, the military power of the United States. I mean, 28.98 trillion, you know, dollars in GP, you know, in GP. And that's enormous. The closest to it is China, 19.2 trillion, you know, dollars, and it's by far a bigger, you know. But there are excesses, and it has to be checked.
In all of this, when we talk about security, we talk about control, we talk about intelligence sharing, intelligence gathering. These are tools. These are things that really needs to be done. But then, should countries who rely on countries like Russia, China, should have a rethink? Because if after being sanctioned, all you get is maybe a condemnation note on the pages of the newspaper and that's it. Nobody really stands up to fight for you, especially when it is against America. Should countries who rely on Russia, China as partners, should they have a rethink about what they are doing at this time? Because if the United States tries to strike, nobody's really coming up to say, look, we are defending you.
Actually...
Because Maduro was an ally of China. Recently, Xi Jinping was there. They had a meeting. One would expect Xi Jinping to do more than just releasing a statement.
China actually released a statement that
they're going to fight in the court because they had an interest in Venezuela, and not because they want Maduro to be released.
This is how it works. When you bring these three world powers together, you know, America, China, and Russia, you know, you still discover that America is still is the fairest of them. Is the fairest of the three of them. You know, when a collaboration with, you know, another smaller state is to be instituted, you understand, the terms and the focus are different. You know, in America, the focus is democracy. The focus is human rights. In China, the focus is your infrastructure. Okay, we come in, some of your grid, in the state, we take over. There are states in Africa that most of their national grids have been sold out to China as a result of collaboration. In Russia is military power and intelligence. When they come in, they take over completely your military base. America still allows you, to share intelligence, although America will not, totally share the intelligence they have.
But they will take yours.
They will take yours. You understand? So it's all of them. China is doing his own, America is doing his own, and Russia also is doing its own. And you discover that anytime there's a collaboration with smaller nation, the natural resources or human resources of that host nation suffers.
Just like the press statement released by President Donald J. Trump of the United States and said, look, we're going to get also amount of fuel from Venezuela.
Yes.
And then we will oversee how that money is being spent in Venezuela. I mean, from where to where?
An equal cannot be more equal than an equal. But this is what we are seeing
Is
now.
the United States trying to turn a sovereign nation to a territory?
A sovereign nation should not be turned to a territory. Although, in the United Nations Charter, when they said, a sovereign nation, cannot exercise authority over another sovereign nation, there's a clause there. They said, but in the case of criminality, and they mentioned genocide, they mentioned illicit drug deals and trafficking, and they mentioned terrorism, then that undermines the power of the sovereign nation in question. And in case of Venezuela now, they're talking about drug deals and things like that. So those are the clauses that the United Nations is hanging on. I mean, United States is hanging on. In case of Nigeria now,
that was the loophole.
If you are not very careful, they are going to hang on the loophole of terrorism and genocide, and they will come here. They will siphon all our oil. That is their gain. That is we can't pay them for coming to help us. That is their gain. And once they are here, they make use of our resources.
Okay, now, can these smaller nations say no to certain conditions being given by the big wigs across the world, like Russia, China, United States, and say, look, yes, we know you want to do this, but these conditions, we don't want this, we want that. There should be a level playing field where you get to negotiate. Nobody forces anything down your throat.
When most of the time, when these agreements are made, they are made under duress. Don't forget, there cannot be collaboration unless there is a crisis. And the crisis is undermining the territorial integrity of that sovereign nation. So most of the time when you want something, you close your eyes to whatever the condition. You just want, your territory back. And the focus of this collaboration, I should mention it because a lot of people don't understand it. The focus of this collaboration is to secure the territory of that host nation. You understand? Okay. It's not even about the citizen, because when this big power comes to a nation, we see a lot of human rights.
Like Amnesty International.
No. They don't respect human rights. That's what I mean. They don't respect human rights.
Human rights abuse.
Human rights abuses. Thank you very much. We see a lot of abuses. We see a lot of extrajudicial killings and things like that. And people complain. Yes, but the focus is about the territory of the host nation, securing it. And so whatever is going to take for the host nation to secure the territory, that is what the global power is coming to do, even if the citizens of the state have to suffer in Sokoto bombing. Are you going to tell me that no civilian casualty was recorded? But nobody cares about that. when it comes to
They call that
collaboration,
collateral damage.
there will be collateral damages, definitely. But as long as the global power is able to,
Get the job done.
get the job done, that's okay. And the job is securing territory of that host nation.
Dr. Kunle Okola, have you heard about situations where you create a problem, create the solution, people clap for you, and then you get benefit at the end of the day?
Yes, all these collaborations. Sometimes I sit down and I wonder, is it really working? Take for instance, U.S. fought Taliban in Afghanistan. Who is ruling Afghanistan today? Taliban. U.S. fought Al Qaeda in Iraq. Who is ruling Iraq today? Al Qaeda. U.S. fought ISIS in Syria. Who is ruling Syria today? ISIS. U.S. is fighting Boko Haram in Nigeria. God forbid tomorrow Boko Haram is ruling Nigeria. What I'm trying to say is that this collaboration, is it actually working, or is all about the interest of the global world power? They come in, they take everything they want to take, and they leave you to face your problems. So that's the way I see it. I would prefer a situation wherein all the president of these smaller nations will sit down and get this right, that nobody can help us in our nation apart from us. So let me serve my people well, let me treat them well, let me do what is right. And when there is peace, there is no need for collaboration anywhere.
Can African countries form a common front against terrorism and then leave out the Western world? Let's fight our battles ourselves.
We can't really do that. And I tell you the reason why we cannot do that. Number one is greed. Most of these terrorism issues that we're fighting in African nation, all right, as the hand of our so-called leaders in it, because of the greed, of financial gain. That is number one reason why we can't fight, because you can't prevent what you permit. It's not possible, right? If the government is funding terrorism, can that same government fight terrorism in that nation? It is not possible. Then two, our military power, we don't have enough sophisticated weapons, arms and ammunition in Africa compared to, states like the United States, China, Germany, or Russia, that can, help us. And the intelligence we don't. Do you know the amount of effort put in to get an accurate intelligence, in order to be able to remove a sitting president from his room, with his wife, and nobody got a wind of it.
Some said it was internal sabotage.
Yes, that is another reason why we cannot fight terrorism in Africa by ourselves, because there will always be saboteurs. There will be people that America will buy. Some of these presidents have been bought over by America.
They call them assets.
Yes.
A sitting president.
Yes.
An asset to another country.
Asset to another country.
Is that not ridiculous?
It's ridiculous. And the few of them, like Gaddafi, that says, no, you can't buy me over, it is still the same, Africans that will sell him out to the Americans. So those are the reasons why we cannot fight this battle on our own. But we don't really need any global power to help us, because they are not really helping. From what I've listed, what has Afghanistan gained? What has Iran gained? What has Syria gained? Nothing. Apart from colossal damages that has been done. People are talking about America helping Ukraine in the war against Russia. The amount of damages, colossal damages that have been done in Ukraine in the next 50 years, they can't repair it. And who will they turn to for loan? America.
Is that a strategic way of keeping some countries under your whims and caprices?
Perpetually, some countries are going to be kept. There's still slavery, but in another dimension that is going on between developing nations and developed nations. They still have us under their wings because our so-called president has selling us out. You understand? Any African nation, most African nation, all right, the president of US must authorize the candidacy of that president before he can be elected. Imagine there was to be a presidential debate during our presidential election.
It has to be a Chatham House.
It has to be in the US. What happens to a place like this, Dominion TV? What happens to other stations? Why must it take it to? Because the president of America must rubber stamp whosoever is going to be the president of America. So whosoever in rubber stamp is still under you. And we have to break away from that. They don't allow us to bear Kunta Kinte. They are forcing Toby on us. And by forcing Toby on us, they are removing the Africanism in us. And when they remove the Africanism, that's why our guests will realize that the hair that God gave them is not good enough. They want to buy human hair to look like them, want to dress like them. And as long as we do that, we are perpetually a slave to them. And that's what we should break away from. And our presidents are not saying that. They are not doing that. They are selling us out.
And whose role is it to liberate the people?
Whose role is it to liberate the people? Number one, the leader of that nation. The leader of that nation. Take, for instance...
Is the leader liberated already?
Most leaders are not liberated. And you can't liberate anybody when you yourself, you are under bondage.
Is that not a crisis waiting to happen?
It's a crisis waiting to happen, that we're going to be under their tutelage for as long as Africa wakes up, especially Africa wakes up.
There was a time Africa was on the rise. Africa fell. Africa is crawling. When will Africa rise again?
Africa, I lived in the UK. Most of the time, for instance, I think in October 18 or October 28, I've forgotten the actual date now, we gathered at the Trafalgar Square in London, and the whites, were nailed down, before all the blacks, and they would be confessing the sins of their forefathers, especially in slave trade. And they will confess to us that, there's no reason why any African, especially, people that are colonized by the Britain in Britain, should get a visa to enter Britain. You know why? Because their forefathers used our forefathers to build UK. So we are actually the owner of the UK. But what do you have now? Go to UK embassy, go to US embassy. You see out there
exorbitant prices for visa fee.
Visa fee. I was in the American embassy recently, and there were more than 300 candidates around 6 a.m. And out of the system, not one person was given. In fact, they don't even interview you at the US embassy again. There are days they say that nobody, and you pay about 350,000 Rand for visa fee alone, and that is gone. You reapply again. Now I think now it's about 550 for the nation that my forefather built. And our so-called leaders are not saying that. They are still selling us out to them.
Some people are pushing the narrative of buy Africa, grow Africa, but some are still against it. How do we stamp this on the African continent?
You can't help me build my home. There's no way that another person can help us to build. Take for instance Nigeria, because of the enormous natural resources and human resources that we have in this place. Anybody that we invite, any worker that we invite to help us, the first thing they want to do is to get the resources. All right? If they build us, they won't free us. If they build us, they will still put us under their bondage.
Neocolonialism.
Because what God has given us here, they don't have. Take for instance, that was the particular year. I wanted to plant. I just wanted to plant something, in my house. in London. So I traveled to Newcastle to go and buy sand. Sand that is everywhere
here.
So to buy sand, they give me sand. I bought fertilizers, and I bought some seeds, and they gave me a brochure, about 40 pages a brochure. 7 a.m. put 2 liters of water inside the sand, 1 spoon of fertilizer, mashed together. I rushed down from work 10 o'clock again to go and repeat the same thing, preparing the soil inside a pot. Then after 7 days, they said plant the soil and be watering it, every 5 hours. I was coming from work, watering it, And about a week after, I saw a growth, just growth. I was so happy. It's a dicotyledon's seed. Saw the growth and 2 leaves. I was so happy, to see plants on my window. And 2 weeks after, I discovered that the leaves turned yellow and it died with all my effort. And I sat down, I was reminiscing. Home, if my wife made pepper and just pour it at the back, out there, it will germinate. There are purpose in my compound now. Do you know I didn't really sit down to plant purple? All right. When we hit purple, we just throw them at the back in the compound. There is an open field like that, and they're growing, and they're feeding us. There is a plantain that is growing, and they're feeding us. All right. That's some of the things that we have that they don't have. Look at oil. There was a time I drove. I wanted to know what resource the UK is having. I was driving. I was moving from Liverpool to Newcastle to Manchester, London. The only thing I saw that they manage well is the livestock, whatever, the grazing system. But as touching human natural resources, I can't see one. I can't see any. But UK will boast that in the next 50 years, they have a reserve of the oil that they will use. And it's gotten from house here. And tomorrow, if there is a change in price of oil worldwide, you will see queue at a fueling station in aid. And they that do not produce, they have enough, more than enough. You will never see any attendance at any fueling station in the UK. You go there, do it yourself, and you leave. And our leaders go there and they see. Don't you think?
But they cannot replicate what they see out there.
That's what I mean. Don't you think? There's a picture in my sitting room, of myself and the late the wife of Obasanjo, what's the name? That died. Stella. She hugged me like this, and some of my friends took pictures. What happened was that I was rushing to work in London that morning, and I branched at Burger King to get some burger, and I saw, a long queue. I was going to be late, so I just stood on the queue because you just have to join the queue. And I just looked in front. I saw my first lady. Wow. The current first lady on the line. And I came out and I said, this is my first lady, everybody. And she jumped on me. And she hugged me. And they took picture. Who born monkey well in Nigeria that you will have access to a first lady? Will she ever be on a queue? If she wants to shop, I'm sure they will send everybody away for her to do. But getting there, they will queue. Why don't you come to Nigeria and replicate that? They won't do that.
Dr. Kunle Okola, this is going to be a series. You are coming back to do more on this particular topic. But then our time is fast spent on this show. We say thank you for joining us on this show.
Thank you very much.
It has been an eye-opening session with you. But there will be a series too of this particular topic. And you have to be here to talk about it. All right, as we wrap up today's conversation, one thing is clear. Security partnerships are rarely neutral. They carry power, influence, and long-term consequences that can redefine nations and regions. The challenge for government is not just choosing allies, but setting clear boundaries, ensuring that our cooperation strengthens national security without eroding sovereignty or self-determination. Many thanks to my guest this morning, Dr. Kunle Okola, for his insights and analysis, and thank you for staying with us on The Big Story. I'm Samson Balogun. Of course, join us next time, but definitely the show has not ended. There's still a segment waiting for you. Let's go on a quick break. What would you thought? Samson Balogun is my name.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Right, welcome back from that short break. That was an insightful conversation with Dr. Kunle Okonla. But definitely, there's this thing we've been talking about since the show started. We're celebrating 190 episodes of Daybreak Live. 190 fantastic episodes anyway. I'm not the only one in the studio. Of course, we have the three musketeers are here, and together we'll be doing this celebration right here today. Anu is here, and of course, Oluwayemi Adelakun is also here. We are trying to make sense of what has happened so far. In the last few months, it's been a roller coaster year, but definitely the show's too strong. The host's too strong, and definitely that's why we are here today. So we deserve to celebrate ourselves and definitely celebrate the show.
I think one of the first people would put our hands together for are the pioneer members of this particular seat. So on this plenary, we'd like to appreciate Honorable Commissioner Samson Balogun. Exactly. I think it's just a time to dwell, to refresh and then think about what we've done, to reflect on the things we've done. But most importantly, to appreciate every other person's to who has been helping us one way or the other, supporting us for one thing or the other. I mean, we can start from the GM. I have the names already, but you know, but let me just reflect over this whole issue. And I think it's one of the things we don't talk about, especially with journalists, because you have to take a lot of stories in every day. Imagine you're reading bad stories, good stories, and all of those mixtures, right? There's a way it can affect your psyche, especially if you have not built your psyche to that point. So it's one of the things we are trying to appreciate, especially for every journalist, the ones in the print, the ones on the broadcast media, and every other journalist doing one thing or the other. So this is to you. Thank you for what you do for the country. Thank you for what you do for Nigeria. And I say also every other person that is not a journalist, that is helping the journalists to ensure they get their duties done. Thank you so very much, sir.
Definitely, I think you're very spot on, and it's good to always reflect because it helps you to plan ahead on how to grow more. Just like we mentioned, we celebrate every single person who have helped us, up to now. The GM, which has been very helpful from the advice, do it this way, do it that way. Honestly, thank you so much, man. Of course, the crew members as well, yes. The PCR people, they help us every morning. The cameramen, honestly, fantastic. Thank you so much. And of course, I would also like to appreciate the audience too. I mean, because they watch the program. I mean, for your likes, your comment, and of course, everything you do, we appreciate you so much. I mean, because we cannot do it alone at the end of the day. If you come here to, maybe we have a fantastic show and then you don't watch, I mean, it won't make any sense. So a big thanks to the audience for all that you do. We appreciate you here at Dominion Television. Thank you so much.
Well, definitely. Lastly, before we go, you mentioned about the general manager TV, Rokegiwa Onofua. The funny thing is we started the show together. She was, when we started the show, trying to see how it will go, she was here until the big conversation came up. But so we say thank you to you and the support so far. And to everyone who have contributed one way or the other, interns, core members, technical crew, just like they said, it's been a roller coaster, a kind of development so far. But then we have been able to evolve over time and get things done. We say thank you to you, and let's just say the celebration has not ended. After the show, we've still got so many things to do. And lastly, one of the things I want to say is, as you said earlier, I was there when the show started. We have seen so many people come on the show, and we want to say thank you to them too, because with them, we're able to build and rebuild. Pataito, Hebi Dickinson. We've had a lot of people. In fact, if I begin to mention names, I might not even remember all names at a point, but then we say thank you to you all. It's time for us to call the...
I'm sorry. I want to thank the social media.
Yeah.
Thanks to you guys. Honestly, thank you for all that.
Well, it kind of seems like Yemi is the celebrant anyway.
It's very important me.
Well, it looks like it's your birthday. Maybe we are celebrating your birthday. Gifts are coming in anyway. After the show, we'll buy you one pet bottle of soft drink.
Okay.
That would be a gift.
I have like some other things that you might need to add to that. I'm a little bit choosy, yeah.
Well, you have cake already.
Yeah, cake already. Thank you.
Well, pass me the drink anyway. Let's see. Well, very quickly, just before we go, I think we deserve to do this right here, because it has been quite a long time coming. And
early morning wake ups, the calls to the check-ins and all of that on the social media platforms.
Sometimes you want to leave your home and you are like, I'm going once again. Yes. And what can you do? You just have to do. So to everyone that has contributed to this show so far, we say thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
So this will be the convenient point to sign out on the show this morning. So thank you. You can join us after the show and have a bite of the cake and definitely have some drink. Samson Balogun is my name. I say keep being good out there. Keep being safe. Bye for now.
Okay, like I always say, it's meaningless to dream small. Always dream big, because you can achieve that. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun. Thank you so much.
And I'll say the most common method or way of losing power or losing your power or what you call your power is by thinking you don't have any. And my name is Anulu Akwedo. Thank you very much for joining us on this 190 episodes of Daybreak Live, and bye for now.